Hey everybody, welcome to the Pine Cottage. My name is Nicole, and I am just going to bring you along for a couple days while I do some work around the house. It's very random. I'm just going to record bits and pieces and bring you along. So I'm not really sure what all this is going to include, but I hope you enjoy it and just get a little glimpse into my life. Today we are just going to be working on some sourdough. I am going to feed this starter for a second time so that I have enough to make 6 loaves of bread. I try to make 6 loaves a week, so this is not enough starter to do that. So I'm going to mix up, I try to do 300 grams starter, 300 water, 300 flour, and then that's enough for 6 loaves. And I have a little bit left of the starter then to make starter for the next time. I fed this starter the night before, and you can see after it being overnight, it is all nice and bubbly. So it is ready to be fed again for a second time. I'm just zeroing out my scale, and I'm going to use up the all-purpose flour that I have left in this jar, and then the rest I'm going to use bread flour. Usually I just use all-purpose flour to feed my starter, but I didn't feel like walking downstairs to fill my jar, so I just used a combination of both. I have 200 grams of starter right now, and I need 600 grams of starter to make 6 loaves. I need 200 grams for each of the 3 bowls. So I know that if I add at least 300 grams of flour and 300 grams of water, it will double up and I will have enough to make what I need. If you have 200 grams of starter, it's okay to add more flour and to add more water. You have to add at least the amount of starter you have. So let's say I had 50 grams of starter. I would have to at least add 50 grams of water and 50 grams of flour. I could not add less than 50 grams. So I have 200 grams. I cannot add less than 200 grams of flour and 200 grams of water. I can only add more. I want to keep mixing this until all the flour and water is incorporated, and it should be like a pancake consistency. Don't mind the dog barking, sorry. Then I'm just going to let this sit covered for about 5 hours. It depends on the temperature of your house.
When it comes to trying to bake with fresh milled bread, I probably just need to lower my expectations.
Today I have quite a few things that I need to work on, one of which is I'm potting up my seedlings. They have grown and they've grown tall enough where they're too close to the top lights now. So I've had to drop the shelves down a little bit, which has caused me to lose some space. So I have a third shelving unit coming today so that I can kind of spread things out and pot up for the second time and get them ready to go outside. Speaking of which, the broccoli is outside right now. It's going to be hardening off during the days for this week, and I'll bring the broccoli in at night, and then early next week I'll probably plant it then in the garden. So I'm hoping it works. I've never done broccoli before, but I'm hopeful. Some of it is kind of drooping, but I know broccoli grows really large, so I'm feeling like maybe the pots are just too small. So I don't know. I might plant it up, but I don't want to stress it out too much with it hardening off. So I don't know. I might just leave it in the pots, and then when I plant it, just cross my fingers and hope it all works out. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's all new. The apple mint and the echinacea and the chamomile, all those need to be potted up, as well as the rosemary. I killed the lavender. I don't think it's going to work. So hopefully it will regrow from last year. If not, I will just buy some more lavender from the nursery. And I'm going to be working on some sourdough today. I just only have so much energy before I have to like sit down and rest again with this cold. So I'm not sure how much of these things on my list I'm going to get to, but this is what I'm hoping to get to. And I also want to put together my sugar cookie dough and get some cookies made and in the freezer so that I can decorate them and ice them closer to Sunday for Easter. So we will see what I get done today. I'm just going to bring you along, and whatever happens, happens. my daughter had a late start for school and it's already 10 o'clock and I have not eaten yet. So I really just want a smoothie bowl, I think, for breakfast. I bought some fresh fruit yesterday and I'm just really craving some fruit and just a cool smoothie bowl. I don't know. It just seems like that's what I want. So that's what I'm going to make. I always try to remember to keep some frozen bananas handy. It's always disappointing when I go to make a smoothie and I didn't have the forethought to actually freeze the bananas first. So today I did have enough bananas to make a smoothie bowl. So I'm just breaking them apart here. And then I add about a cup of almond milk and 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder and about a half teaspoon of vanilla. When I'm making a regular smoothie, I just add rolled oats into the smoothie, but today because I'm doing a smoothie bowl, I like to sprinkle them on top with my chopped fruit. I could eat a smoothie bowl for dinner probably every night. It is so satisfying. You feel like you're eating ice cream for dinner, which in my family, we did that a lot in the summertime. My dad would say, okay, it's ice cream for dinner tonight, and we would be so excited. So this is a much healthier way to have ice cream for dinner, and it's just so delicious and healthy and nourishing, and I really could do it every single night. Now for all of you who have been wondering how my little seedlings have been doing, here you go. I up potted all of my tomato plants, my, no, not my pepper plants, one of my basil plants, pretty much all of my tomatoes because those were the ones that I was concerned about the most. And then I did up pot all the little herbs that were in the cells into a larger pot. And then I built the new shelves. I'll just show you everything here. So the zinnias, I didn't do anything to. They are still in their smaller pots. Eventually, maybe tomorrow, I don't know, maybe later this week, I will pot them into larger pots. I feel like they're a little bit leggy, but zinnias are tall anyway, so I feel like they're looking pretty good. My basil is not looking so hot. It is discolored and the leaves are curled. I'm not real sure what's wrong. So I did up pot one of them, this one, and if it grows well, I'm gonna just pinch off the discolored leaves because the new leaves look to be good. I'm thinking maybe it was hungry, so I did give it some fertilizer, just some fish and seaweed fertilizer. And these peppers are looking fantastic. I did not do anything with them, I just watered them. But I will need to up pot them and give them some food as well. All the tomatoes I did put into larger pots. This is parsley. It's doing pretty well. And here's some more tomatoes down here. And they are just doing really, really well. They're growing so fast. I want the weather to cooperate so I can get them outside. And then these little babies up here, I just put into bigger pots and took them. I thinned them out and put them in their own little pots. So these two on the end here are my rosemary. This is cilantro. We have an echinacea. Apple mint, I just took 3 out of there. Hopefully one will take. And then they spread wildly. So if one takes off, then I think we're in good shape. Yarrow, same thing. I just took 2. If one takes off, we're good. And then these 2 on the end are just 2 more little pepper plants that I wanted to grow, and some chamomile. And I tried 2 of them, so we'll see what happens there.
We're also getting here for now. I do think that they learned their lesson yesterday, though. After that initial running to the fence while they were still kind of riled up from being, let out of the trailer. They touched the fence a couple times and they seem to respect it now. So pretty sure once I let them out later, they will be fine out there.
Somebody on Instagram asked me to talk a little bit about the different proportions that I do for my flour for sourdough. So it is time, it's actually past time for me to put my dough together. I will show you what my starter looks like now. It's been almost 6 hours, actually. It's been a long time. So you can see my starter is nice and bubbly and has gotten larger, and we are gonna get going on putting together our dough. Now, I just used one of my bowls for soil, so I can't use it. So I have to find all my bowls. I always use this big one that I found antiquing one day. And my sister-in-law bought me that one, and it is big enough. And then I always use this one, but like I said, I was using it for soil. So I need to wash this, and then I will show you my system for the flowers. Okay, hold on. So I haven't updated you guys on our basement renovation in a while, and mostly because it's taking forever. And it's taking forever because we're doing it ourselves with some help from um, friends that Tony has, his family. I'm doing the painting, he's doing the plumbing and the bathroom, and I mean, we've come a long way, but we have a long way to go. So it's just really moving slowly. Behind me here, you can see his uncle is a carpenter, and he built this amazing entertainment unit for us. So this is our TV is going to go here, and it's all going to be shiplapped behind the TV. And then there's these bookshelves on either side, and then all along the bottom are these cabinets that we can put board games in, or whatever we want. So when everything is finished, I'm going to be painting all of this entertainment unit, but I need to paint the walls and the ceilings first. And I primed everything, all the walls and ceilings are primed. I just have to paint them. And then the cabinets have been ordered for the kitchen and the bar, but the flooring is not in yet. So a friend of Tony's is going to be doing the flooring for us in the next couple months. So there's going to be a lot of changes and updates along the way, but this is kind of where we are right now with it. I know I haven't really talked about it much because I feel like it's just moving very, very slowly. But the reason that I'm down here is because our food storage pantry is down here in the furnace room, and I just kind of wanted to show you what it looks like right now. It is also a work in progress. It will be much more organized and cleaner at some point. There is sawdust everywhere because these were just built and I have not wiped it down yet, but I just wanted to show you. So when you first walk in, the shelf straight ahead holds all of our canned food and jarred sauce and spaghetti noodles and that kind of thing. And then over to the left here are all our empty jars and some canned jelly that I've made. And then we do have a freezer in here for a lot of our frozen food. And then over here on the other side of the furnace is another shelf with just some back stock of paper towels. This is future editing, Nicole, and I just wanted to tell you that the reason we have a back stock of paper towels is because Tony insists on paper towels. I mentioned in an episode a long time ago about minimalism that I use cloth napkins. And I do use cloth napkins, but Tony loves his paper towels, and I'm not going to force my minimalism ideals on him. So if he wants to purchase paper towels, he can purchase paper towels. And almond milk and Ziploc bags, all that kind of stuff, chips. But on the floor here, what I wanted to show you, and don't mind the sawdust on the lids, but this is our bulk dry goods. So this is where I keep my different flours and sugar and oats and rice and my wheat berries to make my bread. So I had to come down here to refill a couple things. So that is why I thought I'd show you. I'm pretty new to long-term pantry storage, so I have just been learning as I go. I ordered these screw top lids separately so that they're airtight for everything that I store inside. Oats, I've learned that you should freeze for a period of time before you store them for long term, but we go through them so quickly that they don't sit down here for months and months and months. I'm constantly pulling from them every week. You can add little oxygen absorbers into the buckets, which I have done. So you'll see actually when I fill this to the top, one of them falls in there and then I put it back in the bucket. And that just keeps it so that nothing can live inside there. Little bugs can't live inside there. It's airtight. So you can either do a combination of both the oxygen absorbers and freeze before you store, or you could do one or the other. Or if you're moving through your stash pretty quickly, then I don't think you really have to worry about it from what I've learned. Okay, to save myself some time, I'm not going to record me putting this dough together because I have to get it done really quick and get dinner started because it's already 3 o'clock and I have to pick my daughter up from school and my husband will be home and he will be starving, and so I need to get dinner going. But I will tell you, I use 950 grams total of flour per bowl. I have 3 bowls here. Each bowl is going to make 2 loaves of sourdough bread. So 950 grams of flour will make 2 loaves of bread. So if you only want to make 1 loaf, cut that in half. I use 400 grams of all-purpose flour. I use 350 grams of whole wheat bread flour. And I use 200 grams of wheat berries that I grind up. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 50, 850, 950. So I'm gonna bring out my scale and I'm gonna weigh all this and put it in there. Then I use 200 grams of starter for each bowl, so 600 grams total. And then I use 20 grams of salt and 650 grams of filtered water per bowl. 20 grams of salt per bowl. Sorry, this is confusing. And sometimes I need a little bit more water. Now that I've been making it for so long, I just can tell by the feel when I'm mixing, when I'm doing my stretches and folds, if it's wet enough. So if it's like really dry and not stretching nicely, I will add a little bit more filtered water. So I hope that helps. I hope that answers. Down the line, I will record the whole process, but I just have to do this really quickly today so that I can get everything done. It's day 2. Today I'm going to bake the bread. I wanted to talk to you guys too about my tomato powder, and I'm going to try to finish up my socks and wind up some yarn for my next pair. So let's see what we can get into today. Baking day pretty much consists of setting the oven at 500, taking it down to 450, baking the bread for 30 minutes with the lid on, 6 minutes with the lid off, bringing it back up to 500, and doing this over and over and over again 6 times. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about tomato processing. I did this last week where I had gallons of frozen tomatoes from my tomato harvest from last year's garden, and I stewed them down into tomato sauce, and I saved the peels from the tomatoes and dried them in the oven, and then I ground them into powder. And this I can reconstitute as tomato paste. So I really enjoy using the entire tomato. I did not take the seeds out. I just stewed them down and made sauce out of the entire tomato, with the exception of like the little core at the top, and the skins I reused. So I really enjoy like reusing the whole vegetable. I just feel like that's really great to be able to use something and repurpose it, and then not having to buy that at the grocery store. So I no longer have to buy canned tomatoes, and I know, or canned tomato sauce, and I no longer have to buy tomato paste to make pasta sauce. So this is what it looks like once it's in its powder form. And I just put it the oven on its lowest setting, which was like 170, for like 8 hours. And then once it was all dry and crispy, I was able to just put it in my Vitamix with the dry blade and then grind it into the powder. And then you just add water for what you need, depending on your recipe, to make it into paste. I ended up canning 7 jars of plain tomato sauce. And with what was left, I was able to make some pasta sauce and then freeze it into individual bags so that every week I could just pull out a bag and thaw it and then just boil the noodles just for a quick dinner. So I think this year when I'm growing my tomatoes, I'm going to process the tomatoes this way as well, and it will be a lot easier to make meals throughout the winter. And then I found this woman on Instagram. You know how like the reels just kind of keep coming on Instagram, and she was making those little bags that you can store your grocery bags in, like the plastic ones. You know, we have them everywhere. We use them to line the bathroom garbage cans and whatever. But they're just kind of like crumpled into a mess on the bottom of the pantry or under the bathroom sinks. And I wanted to make one of those pouches that you can store the bags in. And she had a really like quick tutorial on Instagram, and I have some fabric here. So I did purchase some elastic from Amazon, and I don't know, I think this week I'm going to try my hand at making one of those because it looked pretty simple. But I have not touched my sewing machine in a really long time. So I don't know how it's going to go, but these are my intentions.